It is said that a house is made of stone and a home is made of hearts. How do you turn a house into a home? Welcome, welcome to Wordnet. Today we have David Hahn, the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity San Bernardino with us. We're going to have a beautiful dialogue with him to know more about what he does as the Director of Habitat for Humanity. So also exactly what Habitat is doing internationally as well. So David, welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Wordnet, and thanks for coming.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Habitat for Humanity has been there for many years. You became the executive director in the last not too many years. around that,
2018, January of 2018.
I saw that you were a banker. You're working with the Bank of America.
Yes.
And then there's this big jump from a for-profit, totally based on money and finance and stock, to a non-profit organization. Tell us what made you to do that. So also your background as well.
Well, 34-year career with Bank of America. And very big change in the type of business structure. Where I'm part of the corporate world for so many years, you get used to that and you get comfortable in that. When I made the change, when I left Bank of America, this became open about a year later. So I took a year off and was going crazy. I could not, I needed to be busy. But I had volunteered with Habitat for almost 20 years before that. Bank of America's community volunteer program is very strong. And we worked with local agencies to participate in giving back to the communities where Bank of America does business. And Habitat for Humanity was a large one for the Inland Empire and other markets as well. But we were very close with our Habitat partners here, whether it was in Riverside, San Bernardino, or Pomona Valley area, or in the Temecula area, Inland Valley area.
David, now you mentioned about Riverside, Temecula, San Bernardino, Riverside. Now, your office, is that office taking care of all these counties?
My office is the greater San Bernardino area,
Okay.
which is almost all of San Bernardino County.
Okay, so it doesn't include Riverside?
No.
Or Temecula?
There are 6 affiliates
Okay.
of Habitat in the Inland Empire.
Okay.
1 in Los Angeles, 1 in Orange County, 1 in San Diego, and 6 in the Inland Empire.
Inland Empire. Okay. Now, go on with your story.
Okay.
I know, I interrupted you because I wanted to clarify that right away in the beginning.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yes, for almost 20 years I volunteered in those different areas with Habitat for Humanity. So I knew the business model. I knew how it was operating, and I knew how it was founded. I knew it was a faith-based organization founded on Christian principles, and that's, I think, what really attracted me the most. And I think the one point that happened once I joined Habitat, I went back to Atlanta for a new executive director orientation. and training. And what really impressed me was at 10:30 in the middle of the first day, the coursework stopped for devotions. Now, I loved Bank of America for 34 years, but never did we stop in the middle of the day for a Bible lesson and devotions. And so I'm texting my friends from this coursework saying, hey, I just stopped a training session so we could have devotions here in the classroom. Never had I experienced that before.
Now you said faith-based, and that is what made you. How about your faith, your personal faith?
Well, I am, my wife and I have attended Discovery Christian Church in Moreno Valley for almost 32 years now. I'm currently serving as an elder, at the chair of the elders there at Discovery Christian Church. And it is the most important and driving
Exactly.
piece of my life and what I do. And now where I've chosen to be employed.
Yeah, yeah. I know every person, all of us, I think, we all have that kind of that driving force. And until we find that right place, there's going to be this searching and exploring. And once you have found your place, you know, here it is. Here I am.
Well, you know, just the mission statement of Habitat for Humanity by itself will attract somebody who's looking for something like this. And it's, the mission statement is, we put God's love into action by building communities, homes, and hope. And yeah, that's a big statement right there. And sometimes, you know, when you start off a mission statement by saying we put God's love into action, then some people already, oh no, it's a Christian organization. I don't know if we can do business with them. They're not diversified enough, or they're not politically correct enough. And I think Habitat has proven its worth over the years, that we go beyond what some people's perception would be about what we're restricted to doing. We help all peoples of all colors, religions, national origins. There is a very good spectrum of the families that we assist.
David, now Habitat for Humanity has been doing this, let me use the word charitable activities for the society for so many years.
1976.
Now, we have other similar, I'm going to use the word similar charities around. Now, begin with Catholic Charities, which is very, as part of the Catholic Church, and practically every Catholic diocese has a section, a body of Catholic Charities, which is doing charity work. There are St. Vincent de Paul Society. There are so many parishes and dioceses that are also doing similar job. There are, Rotary Club. They are also doing charity jobs.
Which I'm a member of.
You're a member of. Salvation Army, taking people in and trying to give people, especially the homeless and addicts, a new kind of orientation, and trying to put them back onto the mainstream later on.
Sure.
So how do you compare these and Habitat for Humanity? Or what is the kind of the difference, or that one thing which makes this stand different and separate?
The ability to help families, and this is where I think what maybe sets us apart, is that we don't work directly with the homeless, but there are so many families that are living in less than acceptable conditions. And that could be in Section 8 housing, or that could be with family members where you've got maybe 2 or 3, 4 families under one household. And that's just not acceptable when you're talking about a mom and a dad and some kids, or maybe just a single mom and her children. And those are people that are one step potentially away from being homeless. But we like to see if they're one step away from being homeowners, and assist those folks in becoming homeowners and realizing that the dream of owning a home in America. And actually, we're Habitat International, so we're around the world.
Yes.
But we try to focus just on the San Bernardino area here. And taking those folks that are very, let's say they're in a spot that is very challenging, because very easily, one little hiccup in their life, one medical issue, one tragedy could put them on the streets.
Totally overturn their life.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that's really our target audience, is to find those that are susceptible to being in a bad spot, and giving them the opportunity to improve their lives. And more than just renting, which is okay that they get shelter. That's primary. Make sure they have shelter. But renting an apartment somewhere does not provide these families the generational wealth that they could have as a homeowner, that they can pass to their children and their children's children. And that's where we want to help them.
Now, how do you find the right person, and what is the eligibility to come to you or to get approved, and what are the process that is involved in associated or even getting a house through Habitat for Humanity?
It's a fairly lengthy process. We hold orientations ever so often. The last one we held was last year, and we had, well, actually it started in 2019. We had our first round of orientations, and had a total of about 160 people that showed up over 2 days. And we had the orientations conducted in English and Spanish. And through that process, we had to narrow it down from 160 people that were interested to 3 homeowners, to 3 potential homeowners.
That's
so
that's long narrowing down.
So of the 160 or so that showed up, a few of them, upon hearing their orientation, realized it was not a home giveaway.
Okay.
That
so
they actually,
this is not a home giveaway.
It is not. That's one of the largest misconceptions about Habitat, is that we just give away the homes. That you get a lottery card and scratch it off and say, hey, I want a home. No, that's not how it works. They are selected then, they are invited to apply. Those that attend the orientation then are invited to apply and can pick up the application and complete it and turn it in. Usually that's about 10% of the amount of people that show up. And that's what we had. We had about 21 applications that were turned in. Of those 21 applications that we reviewed, we then get it down to, at this time it was get down to 6 or 7 that would qualify. We review them, just like in a mortgage application, they have to be approved because it's not a giveaway. It is a mortgage that they're going to get that they need to make their payments on, plus their property taxes and their homeowner's insurance. The one difference is compared to, well, there's a few differences, but the big one is there's no interest.
Okay.
These are 0% equivalent mortgages that we get, so there's no interest payment. It's just straight principal.
Okay.
And they have to qualify for that, so they have to show enough income to make that payment. So we get that list down even further to where we present, and when I say we is a group of individuals that are not Habitat employees. These are community leaders. We have actually some Habitat homeowners that have already been in their homes for a number of years that are part of the selection committee. A couple of our board members, and then so this group then presents names to our board of directors, and then the board then approves the selection. And then in this case, we had 3 homes, and we got this 160 funneled down to 3. Although there was a lot more that were qualified. We then look at these, maybe say there were 6 that were qualified. They could make the payments. But of those 6, then we only had 3 homes. So then how do we choose that? We look at the need. Of these 6 families, which of these 6, the 3 top ones that have the most urgent need to get out of the situation that they're in now and need a more stable living environment? That's
okay, David. I have a few more inquiries or questions with regard to the selection selection part, but we are going to take a short break.
Okay.
And after we come back, I want to continue with on this particular topic of the selection of the choosing of the eligible or the right family, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Sounds good.
I hope you're enjoying the dialogue and a lot of information about Habitat for Humanity. Please stay with us. David is going to explain to us a lot of beautiful new things.
Do you want to fall in love with God? I'm sure we all want to. The book of Psalms contains the directions. Thousands of years ago, people like you and me talked to God out of the depths of their hearts, revealing an intimate love. Psalms are the expression of the faith in God by people around 3,000 years ago. God was not a mere abstract creator, but was present, involved, and a real person of power and emotions. Now, when we read or listen to the Psalms, we can know the intensity of this love. Entering into the influence of the Psalms, we can find a path to know and love God. To know more about the Psalms, you should get a copy of Father Mike Manning's booklet, The Psalms. It will help you to understand the 150 Psalms better as he has categorized them. He uses the technique of acts: adoration, contrition, thanksgiving, and supplication. Get your copy today and know the categories. Learn to pray with the Psalms.
Call the number on the screen or email us. You can also get it through our website. Get your copy today.
Welcome back. We're having this wonderful discussion with David, the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity, San Bernardino. We spoke about the selection of that particular individual or the family who would get a house through Habitat for Humanity. And you, in the dialogue, you mentioned about them needing to have the mortgage payment, but without interest.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it is without the interest, what difference is Habitat for Humanity if you are also doing a similar kind of approval process as when I want to buy a house, I go to a bank, and they're also doing the same kind of an approval.
Right. Our mortgages that we not all Habitat affiliates operate exactly the same, but we retain the servicing for our mortgages. So when we lend the money out for them to purchase the home, because we are the lender, we originate the loans, we book the loans, we service the loans. So we do the whole gamut of the mortgage. Then the money that they're paying back to us then builds up and is to the next homeowner.
Yeah.
And that's how we lend out.
Yeah.
Now, the individual, you mentioned the need. There are a couple other things that they do to earn the home. They may have been chosen because their income or their cash flow is sufficient to make the payment. But there's also a thing called sweat equity, where they provide volunteer hours themselves on existing Habitat projects, maybe the homes that are being built before them, or the volunteer opportunities that we have in the community where they can help out. Or they can come into our Redlands Restore and help us clean or unload our trucks from the donation pickups, or help repair some things for us to sell in the Restore. But there are requirements for them to conduct those volunteer hours to then earn their home. The other difference is we look at the mortgage, and yeah, we still, as a bank does, we still have to look at their cash flow and see if they can afford the payment. But we have the ability, because we keep the loans in-house, we have the ability to tailor the mortgage to their needs. So if they can't necessarily afford a 30-year mortgage, we tailor the mortgage around what they can do. If they can't do a 30-year loan, then maybe we look at a 35-year term. Lower the payments a little bit.
So you make it flexible.
Yes, we tailor the
And tailor
mortgage
it to
around
that,
their
yeah.
ability to pay. To a certain extent. We're not going to do a 60-year mortgage, but within reason. We don't want them to have, oh my goodness, half of their paycheck going towards all their housing debt.
They need
That's
to
just,
live.
right.
David, you mentioned about the volunteering aspect, which also helps them into paying their mortgage. Now, share with us more about this volunteering aspect, because I know, I have read, there are a lot of volunteers who go to different sites of Habitat for Humanity. They physically are the ones building the houses, building the project, being part of that one. So share us how I can become a volunteer, or how I can contribute my volunteering time to Habitat.
We work a lot with the large companies in the local area to provide volunteer teams. And like myself from Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Pacific Premier Bank and Target and Walmart and and
Costco.
Costco, yeah. Well, yeah, and those organizations, Home Depot and
Home Depot,
Lowe's, but they have been restricted because of COVID-19 to be out doing the community volunteerism as much as
Probably
they had in the past.
Home Depot and Lowe's might be also supplying home materials as well, I suppose.
We work with them for that too, definitely. But that's been difficult for them to get out. So that's what has created our volunteer base, in addition to the individuals who just say, hey, I'd like to volunteer. And we always find a spot for them to do it, whether it's volunteering on a construction site, and they don't have to be skilled in a contractor. They don't have the license. It's not required to do this. Just the ability to hammer a nail sometimes is all you need. Or paint.
And your goodwill.
Yes. You want to do this with a good heart.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not doing it just to stay in shape.
Exactly. Where do I sign up?
Our website,
Okay.
www.habitatsb, as in San Bernardino.org.
Okay.
That's us.
Okay. Now you also mentioned about the restore, and I know there's a store of Habitat here in Redlands as well. But I would like to know more about that. Do you have a donation center, and how does the restore function?
We do. The hours are 9 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. Our donation station, we call it, is open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If anyone wants to drop off their product donations that they have, whether it's couches, chairs, tables, we have garden equipment, we have anything that is able to be resold to families that need to come in and are looking for something at a discount. Our products that we sell in the restore are on average 50% of what you would find in a retail store. And sometimes we get brand new product in there. It's not all coming from donations that we get from residents and business owners. We get brand new product that are donated from those same companies like Lowe's and Home Depot and all that have excess, that need to move the old inventory out so they can get the new ones in, and are looking, it's actually cheaper for them to donate it to an organization like us than to have to store it somewhere. So we sell those products in there, and then the proceeds from the sales then go and help us, cover payroll, but also to continue building more homes. But we also go out and pick up donations.
Okay.
We have 2 large trucks.
So somebody has to schedule that, or okay?
Yes, they would call or go online. They'd call our restore and talk to one of the managers and schedule a pickup time. They'll go over the list of what things that you have to donate. And there's some things that we won't take, but most things we do.
Yeah.
And then they schedule the pickup, and we will send our trucks out anywhere in our serving area, actually, to pick those up.
Okay. What are the new projects that are going on right now? I know you in this area, in Grand Terrace, you completed, I think, 2 houses recently.
Just a few years ago, we had 2 homes in Grand Terrace completed, yes.
Now what's the new?
We have our project that's going to be happening very soon on the corner of 9th and 8th Street in downtown San Bernardino. And it'll be 2 homes there, and then another home just a few blocks away on 10th Street.
Okay.
And those will all be done, we're hoping to have the families in before summer.
So you have already selected the families?
Oh, yes. That's part of the impact of COVID, is that it shut things down for quite a while. Yeah, I was going to ask you, yes. And these families were selected back in 2019. So yes, they have all of their sweat equity done.
Yeah, I know.
And have had it done for a while. Without COVID-19, we probably would have had them in the homes a year ago.
Now, speaking about the COVID and to this pandemic situation, it's been going on for more than 2.5, it's getting 3 years soon, Has it really impacted you negatively or positively? What do you think? Both,
actually. Initially, it impacted us. Well, we shut all of our projects down, and our restore, though, was deemed an essential business by the state of California, by the governor's office. So we were shut for maybe 3 hours one afternoon, and then got the message that no, Habitat is considered an essential business, like the grocery stores and the hardware stores, because of the nature of what we do. And so we opened back up. So the restore stayed open all through the pandemic. very limited staff, but we stayed open to help the contractors that are out there that need to buy spare parts or extra supplies because they wanted to keep them building. We needed to keep that going out there. Even if we couldn't be out there with volunteers, at least we could continue supplying the organizations and companies and maybe just the sole proprietorships, the mom and pop businesses that are doing the plumbing repairs and electrical repairs, and we could supply them with the product. Now, if they come back in with the project and have leftover product, then they donate it back to us, and then another contractor will come in and find what he's looking for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we stayed open for that purpose, and a lot of people that were sheltering at home all of a sudden had this great desire to do all those home improvement projects that they never had time for. So we did a lot of the home improvement, where they were coming in and
they had time available.
Yes. So
but
we saw a lot of that.
That is positive, but I'm sure it has impacted you negatively with regard to the donations.
Yes. We had, there was government funding available, and we took advantage of everything we could.
The PPP program.
Yes, exactly. But then when that went away, the donations, the donors, our sponsors, and part of our sponsors would give in conjunction with the opportunity to have their employees volunteer. And so without that ability to offer that, there wasn't as much of an incentive for them to continue the sponsorships. So we did see that drop off significantly last year. Maybe not 2020, but 2021, we saw that drop off.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for your passion and that hope which led you from Bank of America to Habitat for Humanity. Continue the good work.
Well, this is our 30th year.
Yes.
Our 30th year for Habitat San Bernardino. That was started in 1992. And we are looking forward to celebrating this year through a number of events, and especially our big gala that we're having in September in Redlands at the Fox Theater.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope all of you out there enjoyed this dialogue, this discussion with David, as well as got a lot of information about Habitat for Humanity. If you want to be a volunteer, now you know how to be a volunteer. So also, I know I don't want to say this, but if your heart tells you, please do make that little trickling of the donations as well, so that let's bring, as I mentioned at the beginning, let's bring whatever we can from our resources and try to make, not just build a house, but to build a home for our brothers and sisters in our community. And all of you out there, please continue to support our ministry, Wordnet here. So also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be protected. Blessings always.